The belief that perfect parenting can guarantee a good outcome for your child is not only false, it can be the very thing that destroys your relationship with your child when he or she becomes a teenager. Once you believe that their future depends on you getting everything right, love turns into fear, and fear turns into control. And eventually, your child stops feeling loved and starts feeling managed. The great parenting lie is this: if I do everything right, my child will be okay. If I am attentive enough, if I am loving enough, if I am careful enough, then I can protect my child from suffering. I can make sure, I can guarantee that my children are happy, successful, emotionally healthy. I can make sure that they're safe. It sounds like love, but underneath it is fear. The moment that I believe that my parenting can guarantee an outcome for my child is the moment everything my child does becomes evidence, whether I'm succeeding or failing. I stop responding to what is actually happening, and I start responding to some future catastrophe in the future, some unknown catastrophe. The fear begins when they are babies. You bring them home from the hospital, and not only are you tasked with keeping them alive, but you also have to keep them securely attached, well rested, properly stimulated, emotionally regulated. I took that job very seriously. My daughter was very easygoing naturally. Her personality was fun-loving and lighthearted. She was a very jovial baby. My son was different from the beginning. He was serious. He was rigid. He had to have things a certain way. He didn't even talk until he was almost 3. My children each arrived with separate nervous systems, separate sensitivities, sensibilities, and separate temperaments. And this was the beginning of something that I still have to remind myself of to this day, is that my children are not, I'm not creating people from scratch. They come into this world on their way to becoming people already. Their temperaments are something they're naturally born with. When a child is easy, it's easy to take credit and assume it's our parenting. But when a child struggles, we start looking for answers. We read parenting books. We talk to our friends. We start researching. We implement different strategies. We look for the correct method because what we actually want is certainty. Certainty that everything is okay. That certainty never comes because babies are not outcomes to be managed. They're not formulas. The belief that I can guarantee that my child will be okay doesn't make me a calmer, more loving parent. It makes me anxious, hypervigilant. It keeps me out of the present moment. I'm constantly scanning for danger. I'm monitoring their moods. I'm asking, is everything normal? Are they falling behind? I'm questioning my parenting. Am I being permissive? Am I being structured enough? Should I intervene? Should I wait? Every decision carries this enormous weight because every situation I fear will have a permanent consequence. Parenting becomes an endless attempt to prevent regret. When that happens, I'm no longer raising a child. When that happens, I'm preparing for a future that I cannot foresee. This is an impossible job. When we give ourselves impossible jobs, that creates anxiety. We can't actually achieve what we're trying to achieve, and so we try even harder. That creates more anxiety. We're always failing. We're always falling behind. And fear not only makes parenting miserable for me, but it ruins my relationship with my child. Instead of seeing the person that stands before me, I begin seeing a catastrophe that I'm trying to prevent. I'm no longer curious. Especially as a teenager, when my teenager has a mood, has a feeling, has an experience they're struggling with, suddenly I'm monitoring, assessing. And then when that happens, my teenager starts to pull away from me even more. The teenage years are meant for children to pull away from their parents. But when I'm in there managing, observing, assessing, checking in, I'm causing the pull away to happen even more violently. And when that happens, I panic even more. And when I panic, I become even more controlling. And when I become more controlling, my teenagers hide even more of themselves from me. They hide their experiences, their feelings. They don't share things with me. They pull away. They become moody, quiet, distant. They stop telling me things. They become defensive. So that fear of losing the relationship is actually damaging it even more. I don't know who my children will become. I don't know what choice they will make. I don't know what they will struggle with, what heartaches, what headaches. I don't even know their future personalities. And during the teenage years, influence matters a lot more than control. My job is not to construct the perfect adult who got through childhood without any damage or wounds or struggles or heartache or disappointments. Instead, my job is to know the child I actually have, support the child I actually have, encourage the child I actually have. And then when they do ask for guidance, I can give it. I can answer the questions they actually ask. I also can demonstrate for my children what it means to be autonomous, to give them autonomy, and for me to practice autonomy. When they're in a mood or disturbed or upset, I can focus on myself, on the things that I can control, and allow them to have their private experiences. This demonstrates trust. The teenage years are a time when the responsibility shifts to the adolescent. No longer am I responsible for everything they say or do. They're starting to experience their own consequences, and I have to let them. I cannot eliminate the uncertainty of life. Being alive is a risk. The detachment parenting method was born from the belief that if I stop trying to manage my children and make their happiness or their success a determinant of my worth as a person or as their mother, my parenting, when I let go of all of that, I can understand that struggle happens, that I can make a mistake, that they can make a mistake. My child can feel pain and I don't need to fix it or solve it. My child can become someone that I didn't predict. Detachment doesn't mean that I stop caring. It means that I stop allowing fear to make every decision for me. I can remain available, I can remain present, and the more neutral that I remain, the more open I am when my children do want to ask my advice or if they do need my support or encouragement. If I am driven by fear, I can't. I cannot be neutral if I am afraid. That neutrality creates some space for my children to struggle with their own decisions, to experience the consequences of their own actions. And in that way, they develop a trust in their own judgment. They get the confidence that they can survive making mistakes. And they also can feel secure knowing that I trust them. The great parenting lie is that if I parent perfectly, I can guarantee that nothing will go wrong for my child. But I cannot make that promise. And the bottom line is that my job as a mother is not to make sure that my teenagers are okay. My job is to support them and encourage them and love them the way that they are. My job is to accept my children as they are. Detachment parenting makes it so that I can parent with love instead of fear. I make videos every week about what it's like getting a new perspective during the teenage years, coming from an attachment parenting background. So please subscribe and like if you're interested and you want to hear more.